Hey guys, and welcome back in another video and another story. But in today's video, I will not tell you another new story, but I will tell you about the exciting John story. And in today's video, I will tell you about the part 2 of that story, because if you remember in the last video I only told you about the part 1 of the John's story, and if you didn't listen to the part 1 yet, you can go and you will find it in the description below. Just don't listen to this part 2 if you didn't listen to the part 1, because you will not understand anything. So listen to the part 1 first, you will find it in the description below, and thank you. And before I start the story, I just want to thank you for your support as always, and please like the video and subscribe if you're interested in hearing my stories to make you sleep, and I will do my best to post more stories and one video for each day, only exciting stories. And enough talk, and let's start the part 2 of the John's story. So guys, if you remember, I left it when John was in the hospital, the jail's hospital, because John is now in jail. And when he was in the hospital, he got the worst and the most terrible news of his life. His girlfriend Debbie died of a heart attack. She already did have some heart problems, but John didn't really expect that Debbie would die, especially at a really young age. I mean, she had a heart attack before, but not to the extent that she will die. And he also worried about her when she didn't show up to the university test, if you remember. So John, as I told you, just literally was laying in bed and got the worst news of his life. And his situation was really hard, because imagine you are in jail and you got kicked from the university and you passed the exams, and he was going to be a doctor, but they really did kick John from the university for being a criminal. Even though John is not a criminal, he did what should have been done. Everyone who hits his mother, he should defend his family, especially that John is the older sibling. But John is really, as I told you, is really just really has this positive energy and wants to do everything to better his life. He just accepted the fact that Debbie died, but he really didn't forget about her, and I don't think he would ever forget about Debbie. So John went back to his cell, and the guys who did hit John and hurt him, they got locked up in another cell. So now John is at least feeling comfortable with his friends and cellmates in jail, because those cellmates, the other ones, were the real good ones, because they really loved John. He always tell them great things only. He doesn't spread with them any negative energy. So John, only 1 month is left for John to leave the jail and just become a free. But that doesn't mean that John will become happy, or at least we don't know, because John been too much in jail, and he really thank God for everything. He knew that something good was going to happen. But when his girlfriend passed away, that was really hard for John, because he really loved her so much. And in this whole month, what John did was working out and doing great things in jail to learn to better his life. And now this month did end up, and John really left the jail, and he found that his family was waiting for him. And the family was only his mother and his sisters and brothers. John has 2 sisters and 3 brothers. Some of them are only his step brothers, and some of them are real brothers. And he didn't find his stepfather, and he told his mother to explain where is he his stepfather and why he didn't visit him. His mother replied laughing, even if he was here, he wouldn't come to just congrats you from leaving the jail. You know that he doesn't really like you. But I will tell you more about your stepfather when we get home. So John went home with his family, and they were happy. And before going to home, They went to eat something just to have fun, to make John forget about the hard times that he did do in the jail. And his mother just started to tell him good things because his mother just only tell him the good things that will make John. And she told him not to worry about Debbie. She was a really good soul and she is in heaven or in a better place now. John just smiled and she told him that if he didn't marry her here, he will probably find her in another place like heaven. John was really upset before in the jail and all those hard times, but just for being with his family for only 30 minutes just made him almost forget everything. Not Debbie, of course. To know how much John loves his family and how much it means to him. And when they got home, John asked his mother about his stepfather, where is he? And she told him that one day he hit her real hard, like even harder than before. John got really upset again and she told him not to worry because the police came and heard everything and they did put him in a jail for 4 months. And he did leave the jail and he hit her after that. And he is now serving another 4 months. I don't think he will ever hit her again after doing all this time in jail. He learned a lesson. So that day, John was really happy because he was out of jail, but he really missed his cellmates. John took a nap and when he woke up from that nap, he went to visit his friends. Some of his friends were really happy that John left the jail, but some of them didn't really like that because John always reminds them of how of a losers they are. John was not even putting an effort in the studies and he succeeded while they did not. Those friends were just fake friends, jealous friends. They didn't want good things for John. But the other friends were really cool. And they told him about that he got kicked out of the university and some of them started to make fun about it. I mean guys, that's not cool. Always don't make friends like those. Only make friends with people who give you good vibes and good positive energy. And John told them that he already know this and he has a plan of becoming an actor and he will do everything to reach that goal. But us really don't know yet if John will reach this goal or not because John has a lot of struggle in his life. And they also told him about Debbie, but none of them made fun of that because that's not cool to make fun of anything like that. John got really sad and started to tear down and just his friends gave him a hug to know that he's not alone and they are with him. Not all of them meant that, but some of them did, and that's the good thing. John went back home and he just got bored in home. He went out again and he went to a store and he wanted to buy some liquor and some cigarettes. And the store owner knew that John was in jail and knew that John didn't do these things before, and he asked him, what is wrong? John told him that he just wants to forget those things that happened to him. And the guy or the man, let's say in like the store owner, told John that those things will not end your problems. They will just make them go away and come back worse. That was really motivational for John, and he did thank him so much for explaining to him, and he was happy that there is still good people on this earth living with us. And John, as I told you, has this really positive energy. He only wanted good vibes, good words only to make this world a better place. That's what you want to do in your life, guys. And John just was around and visiting his city again, and those two girls approached John. They really did like John and they just wanted to meet him, to know more about him, especially now that John is looking more like a man, like a mature man, because when he was in jail he was working out and he got better looking and better looking physically. He put on some muscles and he was, even John was attractive, but now he is even more attractive. And those ladies or girls approached John and just started to talk with him and just have fun with him, even though that John really didn't like how he was feeling at that moment. He did give them their time. Not that John is a bossy person or anything, he really liked talking to those girls, but John was just upset of his situation, and he really should. He got kicked out of school, he is just fresh out of jail, his girlfriend Debbie died, his life was really hard at that point, and these girls just knew there was something wrong about John. And they also gave him some good words, and John just liked that. John likes anyone who tell him good positive things. And one of them wanted to know more about John. And he got her number so they can talk later and know more about each other. And John went back home again so he can eat the dinner and just sleep and pray and wake up and wish for a better day. That's exactly what John did. He came back home, he ate something, he brushed his teeth, and he slept. He woke up the next day and he went to the gym so he can work out, because John got really used to working out in jail. As I told you, he was only doing good things in the jail. But when he went to the gym, that gym was free for everyone, but they couldn't accept John for a free subscription because John was in jail, and that place is only for people who did not go to jail or don't have a bad record or a bad reputation in the city, because the city where John lives is just a small city. Everybody knows each other. I mean, not everybody, but they know a lot about you if you live there. So John had to leave that gym and just go to search for another gym where he can work out. And that's exactly what happened. He went to another gym and they told him that the subscription is paid, you should pay for it. But John didn't really have any money, and he told them, "Can I just enter and work out and I will pay you later, please?" And the guy, the gym owner, didn't want to, and he told John that he should pay before working out. So John needs some money. He went back to the pizza shop, if you remember, where he used to work. He found that the pizza shop was closed, and not just closed for a minute or something, it was closed from a long time. And he asked the guy was sitting next to it, and he asked him what happened, and he told him that the pizza shop's owner passed away too, and that was Margelli. If you remember, Margelli treated John really really good. John again just got upset and sad, and everything was looking black for John in this life. But he said again that everything is going to be fine and everything is going to be okay and alright. So John went and searched for another job at another place. And luckily for John, he found a job at a shop for the clothes. And he started to work there and just get some money for himself, and so he can help his family, help his brothers and sisters study in the school and stuff. And that put a little bit of hope in John's heart. He went back home and he picked up his phone and he called the girl that he met yesterday. The girl's name is Laura. He called Laura and he talked to her, and she told him if she can see him tonight. John really didn't want, because he was really really tired, and told her that he can't. And she told him, "That's okay, let's keep it for another time." And John told her if he can see her tomorrow at night after he finishes his shift. And again, John just ate something, brushed his teeth, and he slept. Woke up the next morning, his mom made breakfast for him, a really good delicious breakfast that John liked, and that made him give him a good start for his day. He went where he works and started to sell the clothes. As I told you, John was really a lovely, kind guy. Everybody loved him. his business, or at least the business that he was working with, was really running good, just like the pizzeria business. And he finished his shift, he got some money for himself, he went back home, he gave his mother some money, and he called Laura. And he told her at what time can he pick her up. John didn't have a car or anything, but he borrowed a motorcycle from his friend. He picked up that motorcycle and he went and he picked up Laura. They went to a coffee shop and they had a nice date. They just knew more about each other, and John told her more about his story, and she also told him about her problems. And she told him that her father is an alcoholic that always hits her mother too, and he hits her too, and that life was getting harder for her. John gave her some positive words and some positive energy, and they just had a nice date. As I told you, John picked up his motorcycle and he went back to his home. John ate something, he slept, and he woke up the other day, and that day was off. He did not work that day. So he went to the gym and he paid the gym subscription and he started to work out. And when he was working out at that gym, he was working out really good and he liked that feeling of just working out. You know, when you do something positive like working out or sports or anything, that gives you another like boost in your brain and just boosts your energy levels and make you forget about the stressful day situations. And when he was working out, a guy approached him and he told him if he can work out with him too, and just to show him some things at the gym because he was new. John was a kind guy and he couldn't tell him no, so he showed him a lot of things. That guy was really happy that John helped him, and he also told him that he comes here almost every day, so he can find him always in here. And John just took a shower, went back home, and he had a nice day with his sisters and brothers. Since that day was off for John, he went again and he just took his family to eat out and they had a really nice day. They came back home, they ate dinner and they slept. And this time when John slept, he has a dream. And in this dream, it was really vivid and really hard for John because someone really close to John visited him in his dream, and that was Debbie. And that dream was almost like a nightmare because when Debbie visited John in his dream, she wasn't smiling, she wasn't happy, and her face was not like how it was. John asked her, "What's wrong, Debbie? And I miss you so much." Debbie's facial expressions started to change and she told him that she is mad at him. And he told her, "Why, my dear?" And she told him that it hasn't been so long since her death, but he is already dating another girl, and her facial just changed to kind of on a scary face. John woke up screaming and he was really scared. His mother visited him in his room and she told him what's wrong. He didn't tell her anything. He told her that it was just a nightmare. His mother felt that something was wrong. He just woke up the next day. He went to work, he worked, but that day was really tiring because of that dream, and John was thinking about it the whole day. When he finished his shift, he went to a coffee shop and found his friends there, and he told them about it. And they told him that you might be having some mental health problems. Go visit a therapist. He will help you more. John told himself that he will do it when he has the time, and he will go and visit the therapist and tell him more about those things. So John waited a whole week for his day off from the work. He went to the gym and he found Tom there. And Tom was there and he was really happy when he saw John. And they just started to work out again together. And this time, Tom told John more about himself, but John didn't want to open a lot about his personal life to Tom because he just knew him and he doesn't know him for so long. And Tom told John that he has cancer and he just comes to the gym so he enjoys his life before he dies. And that just reminded John of the Debbie situation, his girlfriend, and he started to have some hallucinations. He was really scared and he was really sad, and he took a shower, he picked up his clothes, and he went home and told his mother about everything. And his mother told him the same thing that his friends did. And she told him to go to a therapist because that would help him more. And that's exactly what John did. And he took a taxi because the therapist was not in his city. His city was just a small town and they didn't have a therapist. They only had a general doctor. So he took a taxi and the taxi driver knew that something was wrong and John didn't tell him about anything, even though that John is a really social guy. But that's dream, and since that day everything was getting worse for him and he just didn't want to talk to a lot of people, and he wasn't feeling like he was himself. He was feeling that something was just different and was wrong. So John just got to the other city which there is the therapist in. And before, but he didn't know where to go because he doesn't know anything about that city, and he just asked some people there where he can find the nearest therapist, and they told him. And luckily for John, it wasn't really far away. So John was walking really fast so he can get up close to there. But when he was walking to the office of the therapist, he found someone that he used to know. And that person was just talking too much, and John didn't like that, and he was really busy. He wanted to go fast because that was enough for John. And he was scared that the therapist office would close because that was afternoon, and that's the time when most therapist offices and just doctor offices close. But John got to there, and luckily for him they didn't close the office yet. And that, guys, was the part 2 of the John's story, and the part 3 is coming tomorrow. I will do my best to post every day another story for you. And please like the video and subscribe if you like my stories, and see you in another story, and especially in the part 3 of this exciting story. So many things were happening that you would not expect.